3 different tactics to be able to educate, influence those niche oncologists online. And it all starts specifically with the number one tactic, which is to be able to leverage the data. That data that we're using and leveraging and mining is really focused on the NPI numbers. You may be familiar with it. It's the National Provider Identifier. We're also able to leverage CPT codes, ICD-10 codes to be able to educate, influence those oncologists digitally online. And I'm going to unpack and go through a variety of different tactics specifically around this. Let's get into it. Again, that first one is data mining, leveraging the information. You may be familiar with this type of advertising. It's also called programmatic advertising. But the way it works, it's specifically once that niche HCP goes online, we're able to target them on a variety of different websites. So think about it from your normal media consumption. You're going to news, sports, weather, finance. This is just a small sampling here on the screen. So Fortune, Yahoo, Forbes, Spotify, Food Network, AOL, a variety of different websites that are lifestyle based. So there's thousands and thousands of websites that we're able to target your brand message, your solutions message on these sites to stand out. And then it's cross device. Most consumers have, 3, 4, 5 different devices they're leveraging. So that's the great thing about this type of targeting. It's going to be cross device. So it's mobile, laptop, desktop, tablet, and most people, again, have a variety of different screens. So we're able to target that message on those different screens. And then ultimately, we want to be able to drive traffic, obviously, to your website. We're going to be able to optimize this campaign. It's digital. So if we need to look at the audience, we need to look at the website. We're also going to talk about the ad format, the reporting that you get. We're able to get very specific and granular in how we can optimize based on the different ad formats. And there's about 9 other factors that we're going to talk about. But specifically when it comes to that data, that MPI data, we're able to target very specifically because all these niche HCPs, well, they have to have the NPI number. We're able to reach them digitally. And this is just a small sampling of some of the oncology and specialties that we can reach. So whether it's a medical oncologist, a hematologist, a OBGYN, pediatric hematologist, surgical oncologist, we've got a variety of those oncology specialties. And this is just a sample of the different counts that we could reach them. So for example, for medical oncologists, we reach close to 5,000 medical oncologists. And I'm happy to send this list to you after the webinar follow-up. Some of the other specialties that we can reach, again, very small sample, but if you're trying to influence urologist, radiologist, ophthalmologist, neurosurgeons, we've got those counts as well. And again, think about it. Again, they have to have these MPI numbers, so we're going to be able to leverage that. And I'm going to share more specifically how it works in this slide and how that database is being able to be able to work with it. But essentially what we're doing is bridging the gap, leveraging that data, again, distributing your brand message across those different websites, sports, news, weather, finance, travel, across device. And as I was mentioning before, the NPI database is required by HIPAA. So all HCPs must have and use for admin and also financial transactions. So that information's there. You can actually leverage it. You can download it yourself. But we're typically working with a data provider to bridge the gap, to take that first party data, leverage it online to reach those niche HCPs digitally. And I'm going to talk specifically right now and how it works and how we're able to really trigger that person to know that specific NPI number for that medical oncologist is online. This is kind of the secret sauce here, but once they visit a website that uses their email address, so one of the data providers that we work with have access to all their personal email address. We can target them because it's a logged in experience. We know specifically with precision that that person is online. We're going to track that prospect. So as they navigate, browse those lifestyles that I mentioned before, that ad's going to follow them. Ultimately, the goal is to drive that prospect to visit your website. Once they do that, the additional data kicks in, and I'm going to talk about that in a few more slides to know which medical oncologist actually is being driven to your website. So there's some lead gen opportunities here, obviously, to know what that data is. But the great thing about this type of campaign is once they click on your ad, they've been obviously driven to your website, your landing page, we're going to start a retargeting pool, right? So that retargeting pool is something where we're going to be able to influence to the next level, right? They're going to see your ad for the first time. That's going to be one message. The second ad may be a little bit deeper. That's going to talk more about your solution. And we're probably all familiar with retargeting, right? It's one of those things where we get it all the time, right? It's a great way to stand out as marketers, right? We're all trying to stand out and create that frequency. That frequency is done with retargeting, right? Once they visit the website landing page from the ads, we're going to put them in a retargeting pool, because most people, once they visit your website, 97% of people bounce, right? So there's really only about 3% of people that take action. We're going to be able to target them, retarget them afterwards, so we can reinforce them a little bit more down that sales funnel. And then again, as I was mentioning before, the reporting is very precise, very granular, because we're starting with the data in the very beginning. We know which niche HCPs we're targeting. So for example, let's say we're targeting those medical oncologists of 5,000. From that number, we're able to report which ones actually clicked on the ad. And that's a report that you can obviously give to your sales team, but we're able to get very specific in this type of reporting. So we're able to provide every single month the NPI number that was interested, the first name, last name of the physician, address. If you're, having a variety of different specialties you're targeting, we're going to have different titles, and then also specialties broken down. And then if there's some sort of hospital affiliation, well, we're going to have that as well. So if you wanted to share it with your sales team, and here's an example of a report here. So you can see up on the screen, we've got the NPI number, we got first name, last name, city, state, zip, that specialty that I mentioned. And then if there's a hospital affiliation, and then again, these are all the people that clicked, right? So think about it from a marketing perspective. If you can turn these marketing qualified leads into a sales qualified lead, and then let the sales team come in, whether it's an inside sales team or outside sales team, you've got that data. You know, these people have been to the website without filling out a form at all. You know it just based on the amount of clicks that we're getting. So we're able to provide that every single month. And then when it comes to the ad reports, so again, as I was mentioning, there's 5 different ad sizes. And then the digital report obviously is very specific based on those different ad sizes. So we're going to be able to optimize. And it doesn't happen all the time where we optimize these. Sometimes we just want to make sure the frequency's there, and we're distributing your brand message across these different, obviously different ad sizes. But it is very specific. So you can see the number of impressions, the number of clicks, the click-through rate, and also the cost per click. All that information is provided every single month with the ad report. And then when it comes to the creative, again, 5 different ad sizes across multiple screens. Up in the top left here, you can see a mobile ad format, how small that is. Obviously, it's a mobile screen. And then in the middle are more of the desktop version. So the one ad here on the left, you can see is at the top of the page, right? It's above the fold. That's a 720, 28 by 90. It's a leaderboard size. The one on the right, a little bit bigger. It's a 300 by 60 ad. That's a little bit lower below the fold. But what happens a lot of times is we're collaborating with clients on the creative best practices, the messaging you need to say. But then also some clients send us a static ad, and then we send specifically back to them an animated ad. So think about it for a second. You've got the text coming in screen. You've got an image coming in, right? It's a great way to stand out online, because that's what we want to be able to do, is hack the attention of your prospect online. And as such, we've driven great results for our clients. We've been running these campaigns for quite a while. So clients are coming to us with a variety of different challenges. And this is a quick case study. So one client came to us. They had an early detection liquid biopsy test that they were trying to get out there. So we partnered with them to help generate awareness, education, because ultimately that's what you're wanting to do. Think of this as a top of the funnel, but then with the lead reporting at the end is kind of a lead gen. So we're nurturing these prospects through the buyer's journey digitally. So we helped work with the client to create those ads that resonated with not only oncologists, but MPPAs that are affiliated with oncologists about this new test kit. So we were driving the creative back to the landing page to sign up for the new test kit. And then ultimately, we definitely want to maximize their ad spend. So what we're able to do is we launched their first HCP campaign. We're targeting those oncologists one-on-one based on the MPI numbers. And we did some A/B testing with the creative. We created branded and also unbranded campaigns. Again, this is across device. And then we're optimizing based on the non-performers. So the ones that aren't performing, we're not going to serve ads to them anymore. We're going to serve the ads that are actually driving the best results. And we drove some amazing results for this client. This was the campaign that actually created the most interest than any other previous campaign that they've done before. We generated over 700 oncologists that signed up within the first 5 months. And this was actually a long-term campaign. Think about it for a moment here. Most campaigns, you're not going to be able to influence these medical oncologists, right, in 30 days, a couple months. It definitely takes time. This was on a 1-year campaign, but we generated some great results pretty quickly within the first 5 months. We drove close to 9,000 clicks and had about 6 million ad impressions. So definitely super successful. That's the first tactic. Again, that's leveraging the power of the NPI numbers, reaching those niche HCPs online digitally with that first party data. Now we want to get into the second tactic, which is specifically around advanced targeting to reach HCPs as they attend most of the conferences that you can see up here on the screen. So ASCO, ESMO, AACR, those are some of the top conferences that we're already planning for clients right now for next year. So if you've got product launches, you've got data, right, abstracts that you're trying to present, this number 2 targeting is going to get very specific around conference targeting. You may be familiar with it. It's called geo-fencing, or also called event fencing. So for example, McCormick Place or the San Diego Convention Center, we're able to put a virtual fence around those 2 locations, hyper local, hyper specific. It's based on longitude and latitude that we can do the geo-fencing. And the way it works, and we're typically doing these types of geo-fencing at a variety of conferences. So you can see all the different conferences up here on the screen. The other great thing about this is depending on the size. So like ASCO, we not only do McCormick Place, but a lot of the key surrounding hotels. So if there's a headquarter hotel, we can also influence them too. But the way it works, anybody goes to that virtual fence, those blue dots, as you can see up here on the screen. So if it is McCormick Place for ASCO, or if it is AACR for San Diego for next year, once the mobile phone goes through those dots, and again, this sounds kind of creepy, but it's all anonymous, right? We're marketers, but it is anonymous. We just know that that mobile phone within 10 feet has crossed that threshold with those blue dots. As we all know, there's location-based services on our phones. So as someone opens up, let's say the weather app, let's say they're waiting for Uber outside of McCormick Place or the San Diego Convention Center, boom, we've got them, we can track them. So it's a great way to reinforce what you're doing. So if it is a product launch, or if you've got data that you're releasing, abstract information, it's a great way to reinforce what you're doing at the convention center, right, at the conference. If you have a product theater, it's a great way to reinforce it. What I love about this tactic too is there's post-conference follow-up. Like if anybody clicks on the ad, right, which there's going to be clicks, we're going to drive them to, let's say, for example, your event landing page. Once they click on that, they go to the event landing page, the retargeting is going to kick in immediately. So we can either run ads specifically, again, once the trade show ends about the conference and whatever things that you're doing there. But then 30 days later, we want to reinforce maybe what you did already there. So for example, if you've got a product theater at ASCO, we can drive traffic back to your, right, back to the landing page that has your product theater that potentially you may have video recorded. So it's a great way to not only engage them at the conference, but then also post-conference follow-up. And very similar to the HCP one-to-one targeting, this type of messaging is going to be distributed across those lifestyle sites. So think about it again. News, sports, weather, finance, travel, all those premium websites are going to see your ad, and it's across device as well. So we may start with the mobile phone. We've got the mobile ID of that person. We're going to collect that mobile ID, but if they go back to their hotel, right, it's a great way to reinforce if they open up their laptop or tablet. It's a great way to reach them digitally. And as such, we've got some great results. Here's another quick case study specifically around geo-fencing for medical conference. So we collaborated with a top 10 medical device company, pharma company. They wanted to gain valuable exposure specifically for a new cardiac medical device at a series of medical trade shows. And I believe it was about 3 different trade shows over 9 days. The strategy was to reach those cardiologists using the MPI targeting, 90 days, 4 months ahead of time to influence them ahead of the conference, right? So if it is a new product launch, new data, anything of that nature that you're trying to push out there, this is a great way to reinforce what you're doing long before AACR or ASCO. The solution was we ended up targeting, based on the NPI numbers, over 31,000 oncologists specifically. And again, we reach them across device, mobile device, tablet, desktop, and also laptop. And then the other strategy, which I'm talking about now, obviously, is the geo-fencing. So those 3 conferences, those 3 trade shows, we did the geo-fencing. We were able to actually boost some ad impressions, and they got some amazing results. We were able to deliver over 750,000 ad impressions over those 9 days. And when we strategized with them to help develop this campaign, their goal was to at least come in under an $8 cost per click. We came in at $7.23. We ended up generating over 2,000 clicks to their website, which was double the standard click-through rate. And then obviously with the geo-fencing, we were able to increase business leads generated at those 3 medical conferences. The other tactic that I wanted to unpack during this webinar as well, it's a sponsorship kind of opportunity. You may have heard of it as well. It's called Digital Out of Home. It's also called DOOH. What we're able to do is pinpoint around McCormick Place, San Diego Convention Center, any billboards, LED screens, or other digital signage within a certain radius. So you can see the digital signage. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these before just walking out of the trade show. So think about it for a moment. There's 30,000 medical oncologists coming out of McCormick Place. They're waiting for Ubers, right? They're walking to their hotels. It's a great way to reinforce what you're doing. So if you have a product launch, data, abstract, any information you're trying to really hack the attention, the digital boards are great because they're digital, right? They're video. So it's a great way to do it. You can also put a QR code in there if you want to get some tracking, but it's definitely a great way to stand out. And it's definitely much more cost effective than sponsoring the Wi-Fi, the sanitizer, right, at either ASCO or AACR. The other great opportunity at conferences and trade shows, all your key opinion leaders, or most of them, are there all in one location. So it's a great way to leverage the power of capturing key moments of engagement with video. So our video crew is on location, both at AACR and ASCO. We've been doing this for many years. You can see a screenshot there of ASCO. Just last year, we're capturing very strategic video footage for our clients, whether it's KOLs, customer testimonials. A lot of clients have workshops or product theaters. And then obviously if you're announcing like your abstracts or your data, a great way. And then also there's an opportunity. So if you have your SMEs there, you have your leadership team, that's a great way to capture very efficient. Instead of us going to a variety of different locations, they're all there in one location. So it's a very strategic way to capture a ton of great content. And as such, I'm going to send you a couple different examples of on the trade show floor interviews. And we can either do it on the trade show floor, or if you want a more of a controlled environment, we could also do it at a hospitality suite. The great thing about the trade show floor, it's convenient, it's easy for the KOLs to get to. We capture great audio, even though there's a lot of people behind. So you can see this quick screenshot here. So we've got great audio. We've got the mic right there with the interviewee. I'll send you an example of this is just talking head. In the booth, we also do a lot of B-roll, right? So not only are we getting maybe that subject matter expert or a key opinion leader talking about your solution and raving about it, but we're also getting B-roll of your booth. So I'm going to send you both examples so you can take a look at those. And then the third and final tactic, which in my opinion is one of the most important ones, is, hey, what's your follow-up strategy? So we want to be able to maximize engagement with the follow-up strategy. And as I was talking through a lot of these different tactics, whether it's tactic number 1, leveraging the NPI data, or tactic number 2, which is the geo-fencing, both of those campaigns have retargeting in them. So that's a great follow-up strategy, is the retargeting. Again, we're going to get the data specifically from the HCP targeting. We're going to be able to retarget them. And then again, the geo-fencing and the event fencing, how that works is 30 days after AACR or ASCO. And then the other great thing would be building an email sequence, right? You're going to do that already, but just think about when I mentioned the videos, right? Capturing the KOLs, capturing your subject matter experts, maybe it's your leadership team. You're going to be able to leverage that video content that you captured during those major trade shows and then doing that post-conference follow-up. So all those important conversations that you had at the booth, those badge scans, you may have an attendee list. You may have a list that maybe that didn't attend, right? AACR or ASCO. But if you're capturing that high quality video content, like if you have a product theater, it's a great way to create an on-demand version afterwards. We've got great clients. We feel like we're partners with our clients. This is just one example, working with Erin Davis. We worked with her at a variety of different companies throughout the years and helped her launch many products at a variety of trade shows. And obviously, if we're talking about conferences, we need to be on time. And one of the great things about conferences is being able to take advantage of that. And obviously, we provided great services for Erin. And she mentioned in the quote here, having a creative experience, always on time execution, and just being that trusted partner, and also creating that surround sound type of approach. So that's it for specifically the 3 different tactics to be able to educate, influence your oncologist digitally.